Hey everybody, how's it going? I am down here on the famous Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, California. Just hanging out with my Gear Gods friends. Was doing a few things with Warren Hewart a couple days earlier, and I thought we'd come down here to out in front of my least favorite store in California and do viewers' comments. Let's get right to it. Before we really get into it, I'd just like to remind everyone, if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do. It helps me keep creating great content.
Dear Glenn, please help. So the cheap-ass bassist wants to be the singer in the band, and we all agreed to run with it. After 2 months of practice, he still hasn't bothered to take singing lessons like he said he was going to, and is now flaking out all the time. He says he has no money for new bass strings, which, by the way, are 4 years old, as they are in factory strings. He has just down-tuned to C standard, but he has money for the latest PS4 games and Magic the Gathering cards. Can you please advise, as he is a close friend, but he's really making the situation difficult?
This is a guy who needs to get his priorities in order. I mean, you want to sing in a band, then sing in a band. You want to play in a band, then play in a band. You want to get good at Magic the Gathering, get used to never getting laid. Seriously, though, I mean, like, you got to make you got to choose your priorities here. If he's spending money on PS4 games and Magic the Gathering, throw his worthless ass out of your band. You want somebody who's going to be good in your situation, not somebody you're going to have to prod. This guy has his priorities completely out of whack. He's not helping you. He's not helping himself. Get rid of him. Drop him like a stone.
My band likes to look as weird and creepy as we can and have a lot of fun with it. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think Ozzy should, maybe go to some local shows and see what's going on. I mean, like, I just met the band Siren Hex, and believe me, they look like a metal band. I guess it really depends on your experience. If you live in Beverly Hills and are touring the world and playing huge stadiums and you're just seeing stuff on YouTube, okay, maybe not so much. But if you're out in the clubs and see what's going on, it might be a very different situation. Good for you for dressing up. I always dug the theatrical bands. I thought that was really cool, the Alice Coopers and Marilyn Mansons and whatnot, and we could always use more of that. The trick is, remember, it's not just about the music. There is a show involved, so hey, don't be afraid to put on a show. Chances are you'll get people talking about you. It's definitely going to be more interesting than a lot of that gent shit. That's what we need, is a theatrical gent band. That'll be interesting. I don't know how the hell that would work. Maybe a lot of lights and shit. Okay, gent guys, get out there. Make an interesting show.
What is your day job, and what jobs do you recommend for young musicians?
My day job is manufacturing. That's as far as I'm willing to take it right now, because I'm just trying to keep those two lives separate as much as I can. When I retire from my day job, I will let you guys know. As for jobs for young musicians, anything that pays and is willing to hire you. Because guess what? The world doesn't owe you anything. You think you're going to walk into a cool studio job that's just going to pay you a lot of money? It doesn't quite work that way. You should be willing to deliver papers or sling burgers at McDonald's or go work in a field picking tomatoes or something like that. The simple truth is, if you want to be in a band and you want cool gear, you're going to have to work for it. So take any job that is going to help you achieve your goals. You're not too good to work hard.
You should change when you're playing drums in a band. Try not to be an idiot to when you're in a band, don't be an idiot. Or make it simple, don't be an idiot.
Wow, way to take the piss out of my argument there, man. Seriously, yeah, okay, that's fine. Don't be an idiot. If that happened, I wouldn't have a show. Okay, we've switched locations. I'm out here in front of the famous Whiskey A Go-Go. This is where Motley Crue got started, and about a million other bands. The Doors used to play here. Van Halen used to play here. Quiet Riot, you name it. This is where it all happened. This is like heavy metal history right here. So, next question.
What do you think about Toys R Us closing in the US anyway, and where are we going to buy our first ACT guitars now?
Well, I think that's the case with every retail store and chain. They need to move with the times. They need to change with the times because things are moving online. And that brings me to the answer to your second part of the question. Where are you going to get your first ACT guitars? Same place you get everything else, Amazon.com. I'll have links in the description below.
Hi Glenn, I'd like to know what's the difference between active and passive monitors. Also, could you recommend a brand or particular set of speakers? Cheers from Bulgaria.
Active and passive monitors, that is a fantastic question. Passive monitors basically mean they don't have power amps. You need to go get a separate power amp and power them, so that's an added expense. Active have the power amps built right in. I've been using active monitors for the last 18 years. Like the classic NS10s were passive monitors, you had to buy a power amp to go along with them. So while they might seem like they're a little less in price, you're still gonna have to get yourself a power amp. Whereas, the monitors I'm using right now, the Atom A7Xs, those are powered monitors, they're active. They have a separate amp for the woofer and tweeter, I believe, and they're absolutely amazing. And if you have the money, go get a set. And if you don't, get some of the cheaper Atoms. They're just freaking awesome. I highly recommend them. They're my absolute favorite. Once again, I will have links in the description below. Seriously recommend checking out the A7Xs. I can't say enough good things about them.
Do you have a favorite Beatles song?
Yes I do.
Hey Glenn, I know I like the band just told me the drummer is leaving and they want to go to a drum machine for live performances. What is your recommendation? I fucking hate the very thought of playing to a drum machine. I don't know what to say about this. The other thought of playing something other than a live drummer, I know it sounds like I'm asking a bit much, just sounds distasteful to me for a live performance. Your take?
Drum machines are great if you're playing EDM or rap or whatnot. I remember there was a Toronto band called Gutshot that went up on stage with like 3 guys with guitars, a vocalist, and a drum machine. You know, that kind of worked. But the stage looked pretty freaking empty too. I mean, like my buddy Faderhead, he goes up with a DJ and a drum machine, and that's fine. The drummer can count to 4 really well. But, if you're doing straight up metal, you just can't beat the energy of a live drummer. Go get a live drummer. That way people won't laugh at you.
Hey Glenn, how have you found it when you have seen some of the best musicians you know just stop playing for no real reason? I know everyone needs to make decisions and live their life, but I hate seeing all that talent just walk away, even finding it depressing. Have you seen this, and how did it make you feel or even change your perspective?
Yes, of course I've seen it happen. I've seen friends of mine with amazing talent just stop playing. My older brother was actually a really gifted organist and stopped. And here we are 30s later, he's picking up guitar, so I try to encourage that as much as possible. But it just kind of sucks, when somebody is awesome at something and they just stop, and it's like, why? What happened? What went wrong? Of course it's depressing and it's crushing. And I can only imagine how bad it is for the person who quits too, to become so disillusioned that they just have to stop. Unfortunately, that's decisions people have to make for themselves personally, and there's not much you can do about it. That's what we call life.
Hi Glenn, new to the channel, love all your content. Have you ever had to deal with carpal tunnel or similar symptoms related to carpal tunnel in the past? I have some numbness and slight pain in my right hand, thumb and index finger, and I'm right-handed. I work making donuts full-time and play guitar. I've been doing stretches, muscle massages, taking B6, B12, and omega-3s. It may not even be carpal tunnel, but hopefully I'm on the road to recovery.
Okay, this is the one thing you do not want to defer to YouTube expertise. If it's carpal tunnel, go see a doctor now. Do it. Don't do it later, do it now. Do not take chances with carpal tunnel. I've seen what this can do to people. People very close to me are dealing with carpal tunnel right now, and it's something that sucks beyond belief. This will damage you. It can be permanent. I can't stress this enough. Go see a doctor. If you're in America, seriously, spend the money, make an investment in yourself. Please, for the love of Crom, go see a doctor. So yes, we moved on to the rooftops of downtown Los Angeles. So I'd like to thank my good friend, Mr. Adam Mars, who's been down here in LA for a couple years, for hosting this last segment of the show. Thanks a lot, Adam. You rule, dude. Anyway, back to the show.
Do you have any advice for motivating musicians to practice? My brother spends a lot of his free time thinking about gear and what he wants to do in the future, and not nearly enough time actually practicing enough to make it happen. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's the real rub, isn't it? I mean, like, you can make plans all you want, plans upon plans upon plans. I'm gonna do this when I get around to it. But the trick is to actually do stuff. As a very good friend of mine once said, yeah, you just gotta do stuff. So here's the thing, tell him to get up off his ass and practice. It's not gonna just happen. Nobody's gonna wave a magic wand. He's not Cinderella. Wanting it isn't enough. Doing it, that's the trick. So do it or don't.
Hey Glenn, I live in a working class city like I think you do, and I was wondering how many clients I'd likely to get as a just starting out recording engineer. I haven't opened a studio yet, but I'm curious, were most of your first clients friends of yours, and then you relied on word of mouth? Or was there enough bands with a spare grand or two to spend enough on recording an album, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. Anyway.
Guys, you gotta make the questions just a little bit shorter and to the point. Rambling really doesn't help move the show along, okay? There's a reason why Fluff cuts all his questions down, okay? I think the point of that question was, how does one get started in a small city? Yes, friends are definitely the best way to get started. I called up my friends' bands and experimented on them, and then they showed their friends, and so on and so on. It's just like that shampoo commercial you guys see at the beginning of some of my episodes. Seriously though, yeah, just get out there and do it. And if you don't know anybody or you don't have any friends in bands or whatnot, go to some shows. Hand out some business cards. Just say, hey, look, I'm looking to start this studio. Would you guys like some free recording time? Because I think you guys are cool and I'd love to record you, and I think it'd be a good experience for everybody. You can't go wrong.
I was in 2 minutes before I realized this was an ad. This is one of the most effective ads I have ever seen.
Well, thank you very much, and Tama Ironworks thanks you very much as well. Don't forget to check the links in the bottom of the screen below. seriously though, you know, Tom and I had been talking about doing something, and I really like their product. I think their mic stands are pretty freaking awesome, and I was kind of wondering, okay, how do I approach something like that? Because let's face it, you know, utility things like mic stands don't get a lot of traction on YouTube, so I thought we'd have some fun with it. And I was teaching a course on drum recording at a recording school, and the mic stands were just destroyed, and I realized it's like, yeah, so people weren't so fucking lazy, they might last a little bit longer if, you know, you actually undid the mic stand before you moved it. So that's where that came from. I'm going to do more like that. I think that's a really fun way of talking about a product and raising awareness to it, as opposed to just like, okay, file, open, yeah, blah, blah, fucking blah.
I go to a music high school which is grossly underfunded, and we have like 5 Line 6 spiders that have all been donated. We don't use a single one. They actually just get in the way. So I thank you, Glenn, for not donating that to a school or something, because I can tell you they really don't want it.
So just in case you're wondering, that was a response to some of the sanctimonious assholes out there who think I should be donating Line 6 spiders to underprivileged schools, blah, blah, blah. Instead of entertaining you guys with, you know, taking a sledgehammer to it, or, you know, loading it full of tannerite and shooting it with a rifle round, that kind of stuff. Crom forbid, we actually have fun. Oh, I'd also like to mention those are the guys who never make any donations on their own. No, not them.
Do you have any specific countries where you want to go and work with metal bands? Cheers from Finland.
Any country in the world I am willing to go to. I want to record a band from Japan. I want to record bands from China. I want to record Brazilian bands, Middle Eastern bands. Yeah, Finland would be cool. Anywhere, any of the Nordic countries, that'd be really cool. England, where heavy metal was born, I would love to record there. I'm open to anywhere, and I think it's really cool. Metal's so universal that you can just get a metal band anywhere in the world, and you're going to get a completely different sound. I think that's so freaking cool. All right, thanks so much from downtown Los Angeles. If you haven't, please make sure to hit the subscribe button. It just goes a long way to helping the show out. Don't forget, I've got tutorials every Wednesday, and if you really want to learn something, grab one of my premium lessons. My new one is called Mixing Prog Metal, and we put the song out the other week. It's called Song 232. You should check that out. You can get your hands on all the tracks. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. Thanks again. Take care.